What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Shattered Tabletop Gaming, where I'm doing a wonderful interview show tonight called The Leo Effects. And tonight, joining me is the amazing co-founder and creator of a super cool game I got to do a one-shot of, and I'm already hooked. I know we threw some pretty big curveballs at him that night. Not sure. You shouldn't have brought up potatoes, man. Like that just set the tone for the whole night. But please allow me to introduce my amazing guest this evening, Nate Johnson. Yeah, woo!
Hey everybody.
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. Glad it's near the end of the week. That means more gaming time, but yeah, doing well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are rounding the corner to the weekend. We're coming up quick on it. I'm looking forward to that. Could definitely use some relaxation. Thank you to all of our Twitch followers and subscribers and everybody who's joining us in chat. If you can think of any kind of questions or something that you might want to throw out to Nate, with regards to the game and Lorefell itself or DMing in general, please feel free, and we'll try and get those answered.
Absolutely.
With that being said, let's roll into things. So kind of going back to yesteryear, before the Lorefell, when did you get into tabletop gaming? When did this all kind of start for you?
Sure. So I was 8 years old, so it's 29 years, almost 30 years. And one of my neighbors down the street, he had someone who was dating his mom and took us down to his basement. It was like, we're going to teach you how to play this game. It was Dungeons and Dragons. And I was hooked from day one. Like, my character broke his leg trying to open up a door, and I was like, okay, this is great, let's do it. So ever since then, we've been hooked. You can ask any of my family members or friends. That is like my jam. So
nice. So what was that, like 29 years old? Was that like third edition maybe?
Yeah, I don't do math after 5, so I couldn't tell how many years ago it was. Unless it's role playing related. But yeah, it was 3.5, somewhere around there. So I played 3.5 for a long time. Tried 4th edition, really liked 5th edition, and then that's where Lorefell came into play shortly after that. So.
Oh, right on. I mean, I'm just gonna throw out there that like the whole premise of how you got into it really started off as like one of those suspense horror movies, like.
Oh man, down into the basement.
This guy that was dating my mom said, "Come to the basement." No.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, friends' moms. They were good people, But yeah, that I think so. He DM'd for us for quite a long time, and I played. And as soon as he stopped dating his mom, I was like, we need a DM. Like, we can't stop doing this. So that's where I came in, and I was like, I got to learn how to do this. And I think that's pretty much been me ever since. Forever dungeon master,
All it takes is locked in. Everybody says, well, if he's going to do it, I don't have to do it.
That's right. There's pros and cons, but I do love it. I love world building. I love coming up with stuff on the spot, and it's just a blast. So.
Right on. And so that's kind of what keeps you going with all of this, is that you're kind of a forever DM and you enjoy creating.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of prep that goes into certain things. I also love to write, like fantasy novels and stuff, and I've never published anything, but that creativity is what drives me for our games a lot of the time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's definitely the way to do it.
Yeah.
Especially if you can take your own inspiration rather than, hijacking it from movies and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
Yeah. Every story's been told at least once, so it's just piecing them together, But
yeah, absolutely. That's cool. So you kind of hinted at it. Like, what was the thought process to transition from I want to be a DM to I want to be a DM of my own game that I created?
So I mentioned I like to write. I do love to create like games and systems, and I've tried creating like board games, dice games, card games for the last 10, 15 years. I'm a graphic designer as well, previous to my going into information technology. So a little bit of everything's kind of helped where we are today with Lorefell, to be honest. But yeah, like it. I don't know. We, my brother and I started playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and he came to me one day after, I don't know, 3 or 4 years of playing the 5th edition, and he's like, this just feels so boxed in. I feel like I've done every character, every class, every race, every mix-up that I can do. Nothing against Dungeons and Dragons, but he was like, I need something new. I can't do this anymore. Like, it's just repeat for me. I was like, okay. So we were sitting in our backyard in the summer 2 years ago in June, and he was hanging out in his hammock. I was sitting on a nice chair, camping chair, and we just started talking. It's like, okay, so for fun, let's just take everything about this game we love, let's take everything we don't like, and let's just try to break it, So that's what we did. We came up with a system that has no classes. You can make up your own, races. It's completely modular. You can make your own monsters, spells, adventures. It's all modular. The way I've heard it being explained by people is it feels like Magic the Gathering meets a jailbroken version of Dungeons and Dragons, which is kind of fun. So.
I love that the jailbroken version of Dungeons and Dragons. That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's a good comment. Yeah, it's all, and the other thing that's kind of fun about it is it's all made by him and I, and then mostly family members. We have myself, my brother Nevin, my wife Caitlin, my brother Neil, who does a lot of the like dev items. He works on an app for us currently, and
Oh,
then our
nice.
number one play tester at the moment is Zach, who's in the chat. Thank you, Zach, for joining us. He's been with us since day one, so
Oh, wow.
he's seen the
Nice.
evolution, and it's evolved a lot. But
The alpha tester.
that's right, number one. We call him the unlucky one because the first night he played, he was very, very unlucky, and he's still playing. So that tells you anything. But
That's great. That's what every game needs, though, is that core base to kind of kick things off. So I
absolutely.
love that. Love that a lot. So you kind of talked about Lorefell a little bit with like the classless modular system. Like, can you break that down a little bit? Like, kind of
Sure.
TTRPG for dummies. Like,
Sure.
what can you do with Lorefell that's different than other games out there?
Yeah, I mean, so it was actually kind of funny, just to put it in perspective. My boss plays Dungeons and Dragons. He used to play with me over where we work. And I told him about Lorefell, and he walked up to me, and the first question he asked is, what kind of classes are there? And I said, there are no classes. And he was like, what do you mean there are no classes? most RPGs have classes. Lorefell feels very much, I mean, if you want to compare it to Skyrim, for example, Elder Scrolls, where you can pick different skills, different attributes, you can do anything. You can be a, rogue that has a dagger that shoots electricity. You could be a mushroom chef creating phantom food to heal people in your team. Like, you can do anything. Anything's possible. We've done this for, like I said, over 2 years now, and we have not been able to make the same character twice. And we've tried. Like, my brother Nevin has consistently tried making a same support character, and he can't do it because it just changes every time. It's
Nice.
kind of fun. Yeah, like when you fight a monster, you fight an enemy. Once they're defeated, you have the option of gaining their abilities. So in the next battle, you can imprint that onto your weapons and your armor, and you can totally become something completely different. So I love Tofu's comment. Be a princess who sings to pools of water, and my songs buff my party. That is a possibility, 100% a possibility. Might take a while to get there, but you could do it.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I don't know if you could do that out of level 1, but that'd be interesting to see, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of dice system does this use? Like,
Great question. Great question. Everybody's a fan of the polyhedral dice. I am too, mostly because I collect them just like every other dice goblin out there. But we wanted to simplify it. We wanted it to just be a single dice, so we use just the standard D6. And you really only need one. Anybody who's played Lorefell will tell you probably need multiple because there's always that dice jail. Ask the unlucky one. Ask Zach. He'll tell you. But yeah, all D6 based. All D6.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Like, so just a single D6, you roll into this classless game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are some other options? Yeah, Zach agrees. What are some other things like I know
Mhm,
from the one shot that I got to do with y'all, which was absolutely amazing, super fun, which
mhm.
I don't know, is that something that's available to the masses?
Not
Like,
yet. We're getting close. I'm working on a rule book right now.
okay,
I have a quick start guide that kind of starts you into it, but the hardest part at this point is trying to come up with the lore master side, our versions of game master, dungeon master, because at the moment it's all here in my head and nobody else knows it.
right,
I'm thinking maybe later this year we'll have a playable version for people, like just general population. But at the moment it's just kind of stuck with those who play with us, unfortunately. So,
gotcha.
but yeah,
So where I was kind of going with that thought was that when we were doing that, I'll call it a module.
sure.
You know, when we were doing that, we all got to select a pre-generated
Hmm.
character, which cool because I could see the creation of this. Like, especially if you're someone like me who looks at all the options,
Hmm.
like it could probably take me 3 days to come up with a character.
Yeah,
Um, which is awesome, like customized to perfection. Like I love
sure.
that. Um, but like one thing that kind of stood out to me was that the abilities needed to be
Hmm.
like charged up.
Correct. That is
Like,
correct. Yeah. So the way that the combat system works in this is very video game esque. You have three different tiers of abilities. Well, I guess four technically. You have your standard attack, which will charge your tier one ability, which will charge your tier two, which will then charge your tier three. And then once you use your tier three, it starts back to standard. So
okay,
um, you can spam the tier ones and tier twos, but that tier three, that's what resets it all. And the interesting thing about Lorefell, and probably one of the biggest turning points for us when we created the game, about, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago, we decided that all your armor and your companion animals, known as lore bounds, are based on the same system. So your defense gets stronger as you charge it. Your companion animals get stronger, but if you use that tier three, you have to start fresh. So you have to walk the fine line of hurt everybody or stay safe. So it makes combat very
gotcha.
fun. Um, Along that line, if you don't mind me, Ray, we have 36 lineages currently in the game,
Ooh,
races, if you will, that are canonized, and we take anybody can do anything. Obviously, this is a complete customizable game. With that comes 36 campaign settings that we're working on, different worlds, and character creation takes all but 5 minutes. If you're not Ray and you don't want to read everything, um, you can
yeah,
roll a d6 and just randomize it. We have a complete randomizing option where you can just pick things at random. But yes, it will probably take you a good week to read every single option because there's a lot
I
out there.
love that. I'm totally here for that. That's awesome.
So
Like,
we try to build the
so
lore through everything, you know. But
yeah, and it's right in the name, Lorefell. So
mhm.
I kind of want to talk about that for a minute because
Sure,
you told us when we were doing this, when we kicked it off, you were like, by the way,
I
each
forgot
race
about this.
comes from its own plane of existence,
Yep.
and you all got sucked into this one universe, and then there's this thing called the Sky Vault. And
Hmm.
so can you give me like the boiled down, me and the chat and
Yep.
anybody who's
Yep.
checking this out on YouTube later, can you give us just a
Hmm.
a quick synopsis of all that?
Sure. So I will preface this by saying we try to keep the deep lore of the system locked away. Once I get the lore vault for the lore master, that book, the rules for them out there, they will know about it, and obviously anybody can read it. It doesn't matter. But just to keep things, the suspense going and the story going, there's a lot locked behind that. Some of the deep lore. But a quick breakdown. So all of the worlds of Lorefell are in one single world. It's called the Sphere, but they're all broken by different planes, like you said. So think like the multiverse in like DC Universe or Marvel. But it's a single planet, is all. And there's a deep, dark god trying to basically eat the magic of each world. He actually originated from one of those worlds, broke his way through the others, and very much got corrupted. Anytime a player dies, that's who they see. Um, each of these worlds are broken up by something called the Sky Vault, which is invested lore That's the actual power of the universe in this game, experience points, if you will. So we call them lore points. But tofu. It could be. I don't know. It very well could be. It's your world. Anybody's welcome to
It
make it the way
looks
they
like a
want.
sphere, but it's actually a dodecahedron.
That's right. But that's kind of the basis of the entire story. And there's this character known as the Lore Master. There's a little bit of breaking the fourth wall there because the Lore Master is the one that runs the game as well. But there's an actual canonized character called the Lore Master who seeks through these different worlds in the sphere for people who are worthy of being called Fell. And he will take those souls or those bodies. It can be both. You will find that out in the game. And sometimes he merges them together, and he places them on various planets, whichever one needs it at the time. And you could have a background when you start the game. You could remember things, or you can come in completely blind just having landed there, and it completely changes the story for yourself.
Establishing all new lore.
Yep, exactly. And if one thing that we really want to start doing as this game actually gets into the hand of the people is start something called the Lore Forge, which in our Discord we'll add it, on Instagram we'll add it. Anytime the players before the game's release starts to like come up with their own versions of the game, their own characters, their own abilities, their own monsters, own campaign settings, it gets voted on by the players, and that becomes canonized. So that's what we're hoping to do. So that way you guys are building the lore, living the lore.
That's awesome. It really is a living lore. Like
exactly. Yep.
That's cool. That's good stuff. I like that.
Yeah. We'll get there. It's not out yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah. So is there, being that it's a classless system, and you said it's kind of like Skyrim where you can kind of pick and choose, for just to attach it to something. Is there, in your opinion, being one of the creators, is there a combination out there that you feel is a little overpowered?
Ooh, that is a great question, man. That is a really good question. So I hate to say it, but no. Every single ability in this game is overpowered. It is all overpowered. I'm dead serious.
There you go.
It is all overpowered. Like, if any of you have played Magic the Gathering out there, you know that we used to play a lot, and that's why I bring it up, is you can find different combinations, right, that can completely destroy your opponent. In this game, that's where the reference comes from. It's exactly the same. There's so many combinations. You can take like a short bow ability, for example, and apply it to a dagger. And if you have the right armor and the right lore bound, it just destroys, it's insane. And like, we've come up with different specializations, and they just get blown out of the water because there's no point in keeping track. There's just too many options.
That's cool. So is there like a spell or some sort of ability that allows you to summon more creatures? So I think you called them lore bounds.
Yeah, lore bound. So that's actually not a spell necessarily so much as just like a game mechanic. You have your arsenal, maybe overpowered, but Lore Master gets this guy's been playing too much. It goes right back, Zach. You've done it to me too. The lore bounds are part of your arsenal. So you can, when you level up, you're technically leveling up through your arsenal. So either your weapon, your armor, or your lore bound. And you can have all three. You can have one. It just depends how you want to focus it and how complicated you want to make your life. My wife tends to, for the most part, pick a single like weapon, and she'll just stick with that. And she does a lot of damage as a result. We've had people just pick armor, and they're just complete tanks, and people with lore bounds who just support everything. That's kind of the roles that they play. But if you're smart, you'll throw them together, combo them, and it just wipes the floor. That's kind of the cool thing about this game. You can customize it how you want. You can make it hard. You can make it easy. But in the end, like, you're going to have fun, if I'm being honest.
Well, all right. I like that answer.
And yes, this is true, what he's saying. Yeah. 100%.
So I know from when we played that the lore bound can do the same things you can do. So where I was going with that is if there was some form of like creature summoning ability, and your Lorefell or your lore bound would be able to also summon creatures. And then
go ahead.
Well, I was just at that point, are those summoned creatures also lore bound, or are they something?
I see what you're saying. So You can have as many lore bounds as you want, technically. Anytime you level up your wit or vigor, those are the core attributes that you have. That's when you can get another lore bound if you'd like. You can have as many as you want. They don't necessarily summon them for you, but you can have as many as you want in the end. The problem with that is they have to share how many actions you have. So if you have 15 lore bounds and 2 actions, they can only do 2 things. But at least you got the versatility.
Okay.
You know
So
what I mean?
that's where that balance. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
where the balance is. Gotcha.
We don't want combat to take 18 hours, you know. So.
and that's where my brain was going. I was like, well, if
Yep.
my lore bound summons 3 lore bound, and then those 3 lore bound summon 3 each.
I love it.
Like we'll spend 1 turn summoning 100 lore bound monkeys, and
It could take a while. Yeah, we've had to find a way to balance that sort of thing for sure. There is a talent in the game that's based off the toughness skill, where after you defeat an enemy, you can take control of it and tame it, similar to Pokemon.
oh
So any
yeah,
monsters that you fight, if you get that talent, you can definitely take them over, and they act as your lore bound for you, so they can do things on your behalf, which is kind of cool.
that's awesome. I like that a lot. I only
Here we
asked
go.
because we had a situation happen like that with another game that we do on STG. So I wanted to see how you combated it. So
Gotcha.
that's awesome. Yeah, we say actually.
He's my rules lawyer, so he knows the player side. So anytime I say something wrong, he slaps me upside the head. But
how dare you not know every rule?
I know
That's fantastic.
I tend to have the lore master side. He tends to have the player side, but together we make it work.
That's awesome. I love everything about Lorefell. Like I like where it's going. The little bit that I got to try of it was super fun. Definitely enjoy it. I love the videos that you put out on TikTok.
Thanks.
Both the comical ones and the informative ones. Like those are a lot of fun. So while we're on that topic, if you would like to take a moment here just to kind of tell everybody where your different socials are and where to follow along, and I will put them in the description of the YouTube as best I can.
Sounds good. I just sent you the links, if you don't mind, Ray.
Yeah.
We're all over the place. We're on Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. Just look up Lorefell, you'll find us. I have Ray here posting our link tree, which has all the links, as well as kind of just a quick newsletter breakdown of what our game's all about. So feel free to read that if you'd like. Thank you for that, Ray.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind too, I'd like to quickly just call out our artists. I think they're doing an amazing job.
The art for all the art in this book is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, by all means, please do.
Appreciate that. Yeah, one of our favorite artists, and I say that because we actually have a couple favorite, but Joel Magnan, he's from Chile. He does an amazing job with the art. He's actually helping us do a lot of the lore crafting itself and coming up with like the lore bound backgrounds, the lineages, all that sort of thing. And then Marta's over, I think, in Poland, and she does a lot of our weapons and armor. So she does an amazing job. And the one who does the most of our art is Erland. He does a lot of our card abilities because we do have cards as well that you can use to play the game that we're going to hopefully release when we eventually back this through Kickstarter. He does a lot of the abilities that will also show up in the book. So
fantastic. Yeah, hopefully I can maybe if you send me links to their stuff, maybe I can post that as well. Maybe not right now, but in post we can get that out there. Yeah, put it on our Discord. I'll put it on our YouTube descriptions. Everywhere I can get creatives to look at it.
I love it. Love it. Yeah, they do a great job.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the links, and thank you very much for joining me today. These are very short form interviews, but I feel like we really got a lot out there about Lorefell, and I really hope people do get the chance to check it out. And it's like that particular brand of ketchup used to say, good things come to those who wait. So
very true. Hopefully later this year, if anybody out there is interested in playing, just join us on Discord, join STG, hit me up. We can make a game work for you just so you can experience it. It is a blast.
It really is. And I can speak from personal experience that's very, very free form. Like yes, Nate was trying to tell a story. Yes, we tried to STG it and make it as chaotic as possible. But it, and we're hopefully going to be looking at a part 2, since the ending of it didn't quite turn out how anybody was expecting. So
that was on you. But I was just kidding. That was an awesome ending. It was an awesome ending.
I blame peer pressure. But
awesome.
Nate, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had a blast talking to you. It's always fun to chat with you in any capacity. So thank you.
Appreciate that, Ray. Yep, we'll do so again, I'm sure. Thank you very much.
Oh, for sure. And thank you to our wonderful people in chat who've been giving the wonderful, colorful commentary. I would like to know more about this actually comment. I would enjoy knowing the rule lawyering behind summoning 100 spellbound monkeys. Push the glasses up.
Make your own spells for sure. You're welcome to do so.
That's great.
Cool.
Well, as long as I have everybody here for a second, let's see what we got going on. Looks like the next show for STG is going to be Sunday. It's our Alien game. But a couple of our collaborators have stuff going on tomorrow. There is Wild Blue Yonder over on Maestria Nord. So, if you can, make sure to check them out. And if, that Dungeons and Dragons stuff isn't really your cup of tea anymore, or maybe you just never got into it, you can also head over to Dark Domain RPGs, where they are doing Phantom Drift, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a Star Wars? Yes, Star Wars pre-saga.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, so definitely check those guys out. They're a couple of our co-collaborators, so definitely want to give shout-outs to them. With that long-winded outro, please enjoy the actual outro with a slamming banging tune, and I always dance to it. It shows the atmosphere and the ambiance that we provide here at STG, and we're always bringing new people into the fold. So if you want to collaborate with us, just hit me up, let me know. And one more time, thank you so much, Nate. Really appreciate you. Looking forward to hanging out with you and doing some more collaboration.
Absolutely. 100%. It'll happen.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, is it time for the credits? Hey, thanks for watching. We hope you keep the chaos coming here at Shattered Tabletop Gaming. We hope you keep the chaos coming here at Shattered Tabletop Gaming. Scan this QR to come along. Together we are so strong. Our Discord is a second home. Hang with us and you'll never be alone. Thanks for watching. We hope you keep the chaos coming here at Shattered Tabletop Gaming. Scan this QR to come along. Together we are so strong. Our Discord is a second home. Hang with us and you'll never be alone.
All right.